What's up, y'all? It's your boy D. I'm here with my man T and my big dog Drew, and this is Saturday Morning Traffic, the greatest podcast, not the latest podcast. And today we bringing nothing but great basketball information. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get it on.
All right, yeah, let's get into some offensive performances, right?
Yes, sir.
Steph Curry 62, and then Bradley Beal 60. I'll go to Drew. Which one do you think was one better? And number two, were you surprised at all?
62 is 62, guys, you know.
Yeah.
They win that one?
Yes, they beat Portland.
That's what matters, you know. They won that one. I think it's cool to see Steph really in a more expansive offensive role where, like, hey, you're going to have to do most stuff today, you know, for 82 games. So
do you kind of consider it like a Damian Lillard role for the Blazers, how he takes on most of it, even though you do have CJ McCollum, but majority is on Damian Lillard?
I think it's more like a Kobe Bryant back in, depending on if they make the playoffs or not, but like Kobe Bryant in like 2010-ish, you know.
Right.
I mean, in any given night, he could drop anywhere from 30 to 50 points. So, I mean, he hasn't yet to do it, but this could start. Huh?
You think it's 2010 or more of an 06?
Which one was that one with Lamar Odom and Pau Gasol?
That's 10.
That's like 08, 10, but Kobe was just like, he averaged like 35 a game in 06, I think.
Yeah, and there were several stretches where he was
06 or 07. That's when he had like 10, 50-point games in a season.
But the thing is, if you just look at his scoring log, it's random stretches like, okay, this is the 30s bunch. Oh, there's a 40s bunch. It's like, that's the type of workload I think Steph's going to be moving towards this year, you know.
Right. I think, so. Yeah. I mean.
And another thing is, he's had such a supporting cast with him. To see him stripped down is like, you know, now you kind of understand how LeBron felt when, which year was that? When it was just him and the Australian dude playing him in the finals, you know.
Freaking
Tim Mozgov?
No, Matthew Dellavedova.
That dude, yeah.
He actually went back to the Cavs. I don't know why.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. Dellavedova was hitting some nice threes though. That boy. Hey, that Aussie was getting busy. That Aussie was bossy. He was getting soft. Yes, sir.
He was locking them down too. So yeah.
Right. What do you think, D?
I think Stephen Curry has always been capable of this. I think he's done it on smaller examples, you know, like not as big of a case as he's doing now, because the years I say about the 2-3 years leading up to their first championship, because nobody expected Golden State to just come out of nowhere and win it. Nobody expected it. And Steph had been putting on the showcase for 2 or 3 years. Okay, we see Steph coming up. It's just like Damian Lillard. Like, we just slowly watched him get better and better. And that's when he was stripped down. Now we're watching Steph being stripped down after three chips, after 2 with KD. You know what I'm saying? You don't have Clay anymore. You just got Draymond Green, a.k.a. Shrek, a.k.a. Donkey from Shrek. You feel what I'm saying? That's your best guy. And you got James Wiseman on center.
He's balling.
Come on, bro. You really can't lose. It's just a matter of, is Steph going to be able to will this team to the playoffs? Because he didn't talk for MVP right now. Just based off this 62, like, we know how ESPN works and how that, you know, the media's going to cover it how they cover it.
Yeah. But
just watching his performance, it let me know that the Steph we seen in 2015, this is that times 10.
Has to be, though.
The 2015 Steph wasn't going in the paint. 2015 Steph wasn't getting rebounds like that. 2015 Steph wasn't dropping 35-footers like it was nothing. That boy was working on his game the whole time he was injured. working on it. It was to the point to where he wasn't even supposed to come back, and he came back for those 2 games. What was it, like right before the bubble or in the bubble?
Yeah.
And was balling out. And they're like, oh, Steph only scored 22. When they're saying you only scored 22, you're supposed to score 40. When they're talking like that, they know you can ball out. So to see him doing what he's doing now, you gotta, man, let your game talk, bro. Let your game talk. Let your game talk. What he's doing is what he's supposed to be doing. Stop acting shocked. Steph been doing this, bro. Steph been a baller. He's the best 3-point shooter in the history of mankind. Argue me. I rest my case. He's the best 3-point shooter in mankind. There's nobody doing what Steph is doing because you have to understand he's 6'3", 180 pounds. He can't do what normal people do. That's a regular person. You can see that type of dude walking into McDonald's getting a cheeseburger. You feel what I'm saying? And Steph Curry's game doesn't. It relies on athleticism and skill. He's got the quickest jump shot next to Ray Allen. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. If Steph was 6'6", I'm not even finna go there. Anyways, Steph Curry did what he was supposed
Allen
to do.
Iverson. If he was 6'6", 6'5".
Allen Iverson at 6'6" is better than Steph Curry. I'll say that. The only thing he would really have on him is shooting because Allen Iverson played defense.
Very true. Yeah.
Allen Iverson played decent defense, but also you have to understand that Allen Iverson was in that transition era where the 2-3 zone, the triangle offense, like it was slowly pushing out. And that was around the time where Carmelo was a scoring monster. Like you start seeing all these, Kobe was scoring. Everybody was just on a scoring rampage. And then it slowly shifted to scoring, to the 3-point shot, to the, ball out more than in. You feel what I'm saying? Like AD should be a true center.
Yeah.
There's no reason why AD should be scared that he doesn't want to play the center. There's no reason why. Right. You see what I'm saying? So the game shifted when AI was supposed to be AI.
Yeah. Like Tim Duncan for years played the power forward, but most of his, out of his whole career, there was like one extra year. If you split it in half, right? He actually played more center than power forward, but they put him in the power forward because that's what he came into the league as. Right. But but I think for me, I would have to go with Steph Curry, dropping 62. Yeah, Bradley Beal dropped 60. He had 58 in 3 quarters. The only person really else to do that was, I would believe, is Kobe and Clay, right?
No, it was just Clay. Clay had 60 on the Warriors. And Kobe
had 60 and he had 62 in 3 quarters against the Mavs.
Didn't Kobe play Portland too when he got 60?
No, I thought it was Utah.
No,
I think it was either Utah or
last game, but that was for a full game. I'm talking about just 3 quarters.
Oh, 3 quarters.
That's specializing like a motherfucker.
Wait, what about Toronto when he had 89 in the game? How many he have in 3 quarters?
Who?
Kobe.
Oh, bro, come on, that's my player points, bro. That's not real.
But in 3 quarters, what did he have?
He had 50.
He had 89?
No, not in 3 quarters, in the whole game.
Oh, okay. He scored 89 points?
I think it was 80 or something like that.
You're thinking 81.
That one, yep.
Yeah. No, I was about to say, what the?
Yeah.
No, 81. I remember watching that game because I was playing a deer hunting game on the first Xbox. I remember that. My granddad kept saying, oh, he had 60. He had 70. That boy done scored 81. I remember that game.
So, okay, so 81 subtract 28. Because he had 28 in the 4th and then 27th in the 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So he had 53 through 3 quarters.
Oh, my God. So he had 30 points, 20.
He had 27 points in the 3rd quarter and 28 points in the 4th quarter.
That's ridiculous.
Bro, my player is scoring 80 points a game.
So he scored 55 in 1/2.
What the?
But here's the difference was with that game.
Excellence.
But with that, the difference in that game, they were down the whole game. So he had to do it. It's like Steph Curry. He's going to have to keep doing this. Not necessarily 60, but you cannot, with Steph Curry right now in that Warriors team, being in the Bay, I hear the talk all the time. is, yeah, he could do that, but can he do it consistently? Because you hit your 62-point game, then you have a 36-point game, I think, and then he had a 13-point game. Can't have that, right? But I would think this Steph Curry one, because they won, Bradley Beal cooled off and only had 4 points in the fourth quarter, ended up with 60, but they lost, right? So I definitely have to go with the win. So
when I heard 13, I thought you was talking about Paul George for a second. My bad.
No, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
Yeah, sir. I need playoff PEE. What you talking about?
PEE.
Yeah.
All right, how did you guys? We'll go over some questionable things in the NBA when it comes to playing during the game. One was, I don't know if you guys saw it, D. I don't think you saw it. Drew, I don't. Let me know. Where Kawhi Leonard was in the air and Draymond Green basically grabbed him, pulled him down mid-air, and he fell really, really hard on his back. What was your thoughts on that?
He's a bootleg Charles Oakley.
Mm-hmm. So they called it a flagrant one, but because I guess he hit his head or almost hit his head or something. That's why they called it. But like you look in the 80s and 90s, that's just a common foul.
Yeah.
Right.
Jordan.
But there are rules, unwritten rules at the same time, too.
You can't follow rules.
So, like,
they don't apply to the official game.
I'm talking about like pushing or grabbing someone down. That there's unwritten rules with that though. When they're in
That's
the
for
mid-air.
people who have respect for one another. And Draymond
When it comes to Draymond Green, what do you expect? He really doesn't bring anything to the table.
Exactly. Remember, like
he only won that defensive. He won Defensive Player of the Year, right? Am I correct?
Yeah. So did Marc Gasol, though. Come on.
Hold on. Let me finish. I feel like the only reason why he run that because that he won the Defensive Player of the Year is because it was running into that year that Golden State was on fire. If everybody else around you is doing good, you're going to do good. It's like when they say if you hang around billionaires, eventually you're going to become one. And we all know when Steph was gone and Clay was gone, Draymond Green got exposed.
Oh yeah.
So when everybody wants to talk about in 2016, 2017, the year that the Cavs won the championship, and they're like, "Oh, Draymond Green should." No, he got fouled out because he's a dirty player. He's the black Bill Lambier. You can't be doing stuff like that, man. Come on, bro. Slamming people on. You can't be doing stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
Draymond Green trash, bro.
What about the Paul George and who was that with? Paul George and Devin Booker.
What was the context behind that?
The context behind that was
basically Paul George went up, he faked it, a defender jumped because he got pump faked and landed on Paul George, and Paul George was like, "Why you fouling me like that?" But it's like, wait, that wasn't really much of a foul, to be honest, and he made a big deal of it, and he's like, "Everybody's just trash talking me because of the bubble, but that's your fault." And basically, I'll let D say it for me. What he said.
So fast, Nick. Oh, bitch. No, I'm just playing.
You said soft ass. You know what?
Yeah, I got you, Tony. Don't worry. You can say it off air. No, I'm just playing. Nah, man. I mean, shit. He called himself. Nobody gave him that name. You know, mofos didn't go on the internet like, "Oh, we should start calling Paul George Playoff P." No, you gave yourself that name. This is what happens when you give yourself a nickname. This is what happens when you give yourself a nickname. So if any of y'all want to start going by y'all Zoom me, that's what. Hey, if your life start falling apart, I told you not to do it. So when it comes to Paul George, he does amazing in the season. He does great. He does fantastic. He's got great numbers right now. The Clippers are not doing bad. They got the best. They got the what is it? The best power rating right now?
No.
No,
the Suns. Or no, the Sixers, but the Sixers lost today. So the Suns and the Sixers are tied for the best record in the NBA.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
why
at
I
the
said,
time I heard the story, they had the best record, and the only reason why was because they beat the Lakers and another team.
Right.
But with that being said, bro, when it comes to Paul George, he's trying to slowly ease into the leadership role because Kawhi's not doing it. He's saying, I take full responsibility and I take accountability for he's the one taking accountability for losing games. So as much as I want to give, Paul George, BS and crap and all that other good stuff, he's taking accountability. I don't hear Kawhi when he scores 15 points. Nobody, it's like, and I've had this conversation off air with, other people. He's a void from criticism. And I feel like that's only because he doesn't speak. He's smart enough to know if I talk, they'll tear me down. And Paul George is willing to put himself, his integrity on the line and his reputation on the line for the Clippers. You don't sign a 5-year extension, and I believe he'll get traded in the next 2 to 3 years. But that just lets you know that Paul George is trying to fill that leadership role.
Yeah. Come on. You think they'll trade Paul George instead of Kawhi Leonard at this point?
Well, see, I see Kawhi Leonard different than everybody else sees Kawhi Leonard. I see Kawhi Leonard like I see Rajon Rondo. He's a mercenary. Listen. Go ahead.
Dude, he's opting out, so he's going to be a free agent at the summer.
Like I said, I see Kawhi Leonard like I see Rajon Rondo. He's a mercenary. He has no loyalty to any team. And that's nothing against Rondo because Rondo is a missing piece on every team.
Right.
No matter what, whether you need a backup point guard, you need a starting point guard, you need a mentor, you need leadership in the locker room, you need team morale, you need a guy who's willing to sit on the bench, you need a guy in the playoffs who's going to come off and give you 30. He is there no matter what. He's always going to be needed on any team. And that's the same thing with Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard's best bet is to opt out. But back to Paul George, you stuck, Chuck. You stuck. You a hockey puck in a block of ice, buddy. You ain't moving unless it melts.
I mean, to be fair to him, he wants to stay in Cali. So, who else is going to give him that money besides the Clippers?
One second. I'm pledging to Indiana. But, I'm not really worried about the trade talks and the rumors. I'm focused on building this team and making sure we can get back in the playoffs. Went to OKC.
Same thing.
Okay, I get to OKC. I really want to be with OKC. Didn't like playing with Russ. Demanded a trade. Went to the Clippers, whatever y'all want to call them. Went there, lost in the lost when they had a 20-point lead against the Denver Nuggets against Jokic, who's better than AD, and all that good stuff. And look at them now.
Time out.
Hey, we'll get no, Drew. We'll get to the AD and Jokic.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
But I'm just saying.
Table that. Right.
Paul George has commitment. Paul George has commitment issues.
Yeah.
And we see what happened, regardless of whether you have an extension or not. It reaches the point to where it's just a big contract. You can get dropped off anywhere at that point.
Didn't he marry a stripper or something?
He was listen.
Here we go.
Oh my God. I don't know why y'all drag me into this. I don't want to do this, but look, since we're gonna talk about it, Paul George was dating Doc Rivers' daughter. He cheated on her with a stripper, got her pregnant, then tried to marry her. I'll rest my case. Next subject, please. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Playoff PEE.
All right. Let's talk about what are your disappointments and surprises so far. Only a couple weeks in, but I kind of I'll go first on this. Disappointment definitely is Toronto. They're doing horrible. I think they won one game. It's it's pretty bad. You expect more, right? Miami starting 3-4. I think they'll still get in. There's a defensive minded team. But yeah, Toronto is 1-6. And in the West, my disappointment definitely has to be you look at Denver and Houston. Denver 3-5, Houston, 2-4 with the talent on both teams. There's no reason they should be there, even though, yes, the whole James Harden thing, but you have James Harden, Boogie, you have and John Wall there. There's no reason why you should be 2 and 4, right? We'll just do the disappointments and we'll go back to the surprises. Go ahead, Drew.
Disappointments. Markelle Fultz is out with an ACL injury.
That's tough.
That's like the second young Magic player with an ACL injury or knee ligament type of knee situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac I think he's still recovering. He has yet to make his debut. So those two. And I was just having that conversation with a friend. It's like something with like why are these young players coming out of Orlando with these knee problems?
Right.
And it's like, something about, I think there's a strength and conditioning issue there. That's my take on it. Surprises. See, it's hard for me to really, these early assessments, it's just like, it's 82 games.
72.
72, excuse me. We'll shave 10 games off. That's a lot of basketball left to be played.
Mm-hmm.
We look at great teams like Miami back when LeBron and them was there. They went on like a 10-game losing streak. They're like, oh, they ain't gonna make it, but they got it together. Right. So surprises. I guess I'll throw Phoenix in there for that one.
Yeah.
Back though.
That's not really a surprise to me though, because I knew Phoenix as soon as they got Chris Paul. They were gonna. The way Chris Paul orchestrates offense and sets up plays, he's one cold piece.
But see, the thing about it was that, and the way Booker, because I have him on my fantasy league, and it's pissing me off that Chris Paul is messing up his numbers. And I'm like, you were my second pick and whatnot.
But you know what he's teaching? He's teaching Devin Booker how to play off ball.
Yeah.
And if he ever gets traded and goes to a team where off ball is not a necessary importance, he's gonna be a cold piece. He's gonna be a cold piece.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because Chris Paul, because to me, there's point guard and there's point guard. A point guard can orchestrate offense. A point guard can orchestrate offense and make you a better player at the same time. It's like, wait a minute, I don't have the ball in my hands, but I'm over here blocking shots and I'm getting rebounds. Like that's what comes with being a point guard. Mm-hmm. So when I see Phoenix, I'm like, oh yeah, they might get eliminated in the second round in the Western Conference, but still they haven't made it since Steve Nash was there. Come on, like me and him got the same. I'm rocking with Phoenix. I'm rocking with what Drew said. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would say Phoenix. A big thing also, which is Brooklyn losing Dinwiddie for the year. That's on par with kind of like Fultz for Orlando. Not the same, like, because you got KD and Kyrie, right? But going down the stretch, that's gonna matter, right? So I see Brooklyn making a move somehow with something, but they beat Philly. Philly's 7-2, so that's you see with the coach change there. I know it's early, but Philly did lose to Brooklyn tonight, and KD and Kyrie didn't play without Dinwiddie also.
I believe Brooklyn is going to fall apart mid-season. They're too KD and Kyrie heavy. Not to say that they shouldn't be playing the way they're playing, but it just Mike D'Antoni, like, the way he coaches is strictly offense, and then you got Steve Nash. You have two people that are like-minded and have played together. So, yeah, I think it was, who was it? Somebody was saying, oh, they're playing excellent defense. They're like they're not very high rated in the defense category. So I just think over time we'll slowly see them digress, and they'll make it to the playoffs. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't think they're going to make it as far as we think they are. Maybe next year when they can add more pieces in free agency and things of that nature, because we don't know what happens in that area. But this year, I don't think it's gonna unless the NBA wants that, then it'll happen. But other than that, I don't believe it's gonna happen. I think they have a great chance to have a good year, but I don't think they'll make the Eastern Conference Finals unless they change the way their play style.
No,
because it's exactly what I knew it was gonna be. Heavy ISO ball. You're turning Kevin DeHart. You're Kevin DeHart. You're turning Kevin Durant. You're turning Kevin Durant. He's slowly shifting into an ISO player, and I don't like that.
Let me ask you, D. Have you seen any Nets games this year?
I watch highlights every single time.
Not highlights, actual game.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Where's the time for that?
I do. I've been off.
You're Tony. You're not a regular person. You have enough patience and sit still ability to watch a whole game. I'm not doing that.
No,
I'll catch the highlights, and if it's a game,
I watched about 4 games through the whole game, and I will tell you that when they both play, they actually play very well together. I'm
not disagreeing with that.
But losing Dinwiddie is a big thing. I think because losing Dinwiddie, potentially now there's no probably 5 teams can make it now. That's how East, Drew, you were saying how deep the East is and all that stuff. There's about 4 or 5 teams now because of that. I think before that, fully healthy Nets, how deep they were, I think they were more of the favorites. Now it's kind of went down. I don't trust Milwaukee. That's for damn sure. I think Drew Holiday helps, but even that being a 7th seed right now, that, a lot of these teams,
you say
training camp. It's really preseason, so can't go too hard on some of these teams. But I mean, except the Raptors.
I don't know why I'm not really bugged that the Raptors aren't doing well. I mean, I know they sat Siakam. They've got some young players that are still learning their role. That long 6'9" dude, Chris. Is it Boucher? Is that his name?
Something.
Black dude, right?
Yeah, I think he's
You're talking about. They did some type. I seen some type of YouTube video about him. I know who you're talking about. He went undrafted.
Right, him.
Yeah.
They got Norman Powell.
You say Chris, right?
Yeah.
Boucher.
Yeah, that yeah.
Power forward.
I'm looking at him on fantasy.
Yeah.
I think they're just missing leadership. They need just a true undefined superstar. That's why I was like, if James Harden was to go anywhere, that's the perfect place to go. He's not a leader, but that's a great place to go.
Well, Toronto did lose 2 key pieces in their starting lineup too, to be fair, I guess, to them. I mean,
right.
Marc Gasol, Ibaka, they both left. Both went to LA. So, to be fair, I understand, but at the same time, 1-6 and I don't know.
I mean, how okay, like you said, how deep are they now after losing them?
Okay, so let me go back here. They got OG Anunoby.
Okay.
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
Norman Powell, Siakam, Kyle Lowry, and basically to the pieces they brought in of losing those 2 was Alex Len and Aaron Baines.
I don't know if that's enough to.
It's not.
Yeah, they might be 8th. I could see them getting 8th in the playoffs.
Yep, get knocked out in the first round. I can believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
What about the Knicks at 5-3?
Yeah.
We're not gonna talk about the Knicks, man. Let them boys.
Julius Randle looks good right now.
Oh yeah, he's destroying my fantasy league, bro. I'm so glad I picked him up, bro. I drafted him 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah.
He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth.
All right, let's get to the debate now. I know D's been waiting for this one. Anthony Davis,
yeah,
or the Joker? Who you got? We'll go to D first, and then we'll go to Drew. This is the topic he wants.
I'm picking Jokic, obviously, because he's more aggressive on offense. He's a better passer. He has a higher basketball IQ. And he's a true center. I rest my case.
I mean, the last state, like the other three, I understand, but the last statement, just because he's a center, doesn't make him better because he's at center than power forward.
I'm not saying that makes him better. He's willing to play the position. AD's not.
Go ahead, Drew.
You know,
Willingness is 90. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish.
Oh, no. Willingness is 90% of the job in basketball. I don't care if you score 0 points. If you're willing to play that position, you obviously are on the court for a reason. Play the, like you're telling me no, and we're trying to win, get off of my team.
And you know, after talking to my high school coach, who's now a college coach, that's literally like one of the things we were having a conversation about. There was a particular guy from our city, and I was like, why did he never make the NBA? And I was like, he was a D-League champion and whatnot, and, had tryouts and whatnot. I'm like, why didn't he make the NBA? He said, well, looking at his field goal percentage, he never got better at the three-pointer, and that boils back down to willingness. So I'll even give you that. So from a GM's perspective, I see what you're saying on that. But what I can't forget is the last 2 minutes, head-to-head, in that bubble Western Conference final when AD made that last-minute shot after Jokic made a shot to put them up.
Yeah.
That's cojones right there, man.
So that creates the debate.
It does.
And I'm not saying aggressive and clutch are two different things. Let's get that established right now. Aggressive and clutch are two different things. Kyrie's aggressive on offense. Michael Jordan is clutch. You see what I'm saying? It's two different things. So when you weigh those options, that's literally a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
I don't think you can have clutch without being aggressive, though.
I think you can. Because I think you can.
Go hand in hand.
I think you can because sometimes you can be aggressive and be dumb. We've seen that happen multiple times.
It's not an IQ thing. Clutch is an IQ. It's the willingness to act in the middle of like.
So you don't. So you don't think being clutch involves IQ?
I think it does, but not as. When you say aggressive and dumb, I think of somebody forcing up shots where the offense doesn't allow for something.
Westbrook.
That's a great example. And that's one of my harps on him is that whenever they get in a problem, he try to shoot himself out of a problem.
Can't do that. It's not calling.
But it's times when I can't say that he's not clutch either, though.
He's taking some clutch shots.
You see what I'm saying?
Getting clutch shots does not make that. There's more an application to be clutch.
What is clutch then?
To me, this is clutch. 10 seconds to go. Hold on. Give me a second. 10 seconds to go. I'm the one you want to pass to. I'm not the one who has the ball. I'm the one you're trying to get the ball to. You dig what I'm saying? I'm the one that you're trying to, okay, everybody's finna flood the defense on the star guy. Even if I'm not the star guy, I'm the guy you want to get the ball to because you know I'm going to make it. I'm going to put myself in the position to take a high percentage shot.
Are you kind of talking about maybe a Robert Ory or something like that?
Bingo. Always in the right place at the right time. That's the type of clutch.
Hold up. I got to back that up because you led this whole argument with Jordan is clutch. And I remember we were just watching the Last Dance in the Utah series. He had the ball. Yeah. He started out with the ball. Okay. So I'm just saying, like, you can be clutch with the ball and without the ball.
It's both. Yeah.
Then I guess we both right. Then we both right. It's not a debate. It's an agreement.
And the thing is, I can't say that Jokic isn't clutch, but I just feel like AD had a checkmate over him. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Both of those shots were amazing. It was like that was like probably the best game of the whole year.
I think what it is we're finally getting to see Jokic's full potential at full capacity. So I feel like over the course of the next few years, we may or may not see Jokic pass AD in that aspect. That's all. I think that's what I'm really trying to say. Like all debate and all funny semantics aside, I think that's what the possibility is. Jokic will eventually pass AD. I think that's what I'm really trying to say.
I think I'm taking AD, but Jokic is coming. Let's just say that. Like, he is. He's coming. I do think he has a better court awareness because he's looking to pass. AD is more of like, all right, I got LeBron. He's passing. All right, let me go get mine. Let me get my boards. Let me get my blocks. Let me help the team in that aspect. He's the better defender. Okay. I think last year he could have got Defensive Player of the Year. It was close. But defensive wise, better goes to AD. I would say IQ wise, floor awareness goes to Joker. Obviously, the passing goes to the Joker. But everything else, I mean, it's hard to say no to AD right now. Like, it's right now. I mean, because every year it's different, right? It's going to be different. I think the running mate has something to do with it too, where you got LeBron James, who's very consistent, right? He defers more to AD because he wants AD to take the team, right? But he's still LeBron, right? Where on the flip side, Joker has Jamal Murray, who's not consistent. He could put up some numbers, but then he'll have 5-10 straight games where he'll hit like 10 to 12 points. So I think that also impacts why Joker has to take the reins of passing too. Is another thing. Another option, because it looks like Jamal Murray is he's not a passing guard. Like he's more like a shoot first guard.
Yeah, he's an Allen Iverson type player.
So I think that has to do something with it as well. But I'll have to take AD on this one though, right now.
All right, so we've all agreed.
So you're not taking Joker then?
No, I'm taking Joker. I think it's necessary. Like I said, it's an agreement. Like I feel like eventually Jokic it will be a debate in the future. That's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. What you said something earlier. You said there's point guards and there's point guards in reference to Chris Paul, and I don't disagree. Another show you had said that Jason Kidd was like not on that level, and I still struggle with that.
Oh, that was for different reasons outside of basketball, but and me and Tony have had this conversation out when we were doing the full court series and all that. We had that conversation out, on there and outside of that. But it just I have to go research Jason Kidd to have this conversation again. So with that being said, I don't want to give my opinion without actually doing research. So I was speaking at a turn, and my apologies to Jason Kidd. You feel what I'm saying? But if you ever see this, hopefully you do when we go viral. But with that whole situation, I just didn't really get a good evaluation of Jason Kidd's career and what he has done so far. But I mean, he willed the Nets to the NBA Finals and got swept.
That and then
help beat Miami.
Yeah, and then the Nets
served the purpose. He served the purpose.
Is
that it for the surprises? Oh, go ahead.
I think that's someone who you could look to is, yes, he has a sketchy background, but
why do we keep bringing his background?
Bro, you can't not. That's like saying, oh man, you got shot.
It's leading into something because there's going to be some coaching openings, and the whole thing was, hey, yeah, we'll have him as assistant, but eventually he's going to take over as head coach for the Lakers. I don't think that'll be the case anymore. But
right. Isn't Gilbert Arenas on that staff as like an interim coach?
He wants to be.
Oh, I misheard him then probably because I thought it sounded like he was.
I think he reached out. Like I think I saw that episode, No Chill Gil and all that.
Yeah.
But like I think he reached out to LeBron, be like, hey, but like that's who's like very Gilbert Arenas is very underrated when it comes to the knowledge of the game, where I could see him kind of like not like Steve Nash, how he came into it, right? Being player development and coach. I think he can move up, and I think Gilbert Arenas' basketball mind is amazing. Like how he talks, and I don't know if you saw the T.O. With him and T.O. Terrell Owens, but that was like just how he was talking and breaking down how the NBA versus like the mindset of football, because he said he was Michael Vick before Michael Vick. But Gilbert Arenas. But he said I was like, what? No, but like just how his mind works, where he was saying like all these other like Earl Boykins wasn't lifting. So he's like, I don't need to lift because I'm just a hooper. Let me just get up shots. I don't need to lift. I don't need to get stronger, because he was like, I see where like LeBron is just a physical force. How is he not the top in free throw attempts? But when you look at someone like Allen Iverson, not strong, like not like hella cut or anything like that, like big, light, goes up there, but he leads the league in free throw attempts. So he's like, I understand why they want us to work, but I'm not trying to lift iron. I'm trying to work on my game, because he was all about hooping, right?
I think we should wait until we see people's strength and conditioning sessions.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to say Iverson never touched weights now. As a pro,
not saying that. He was just saying how he was built. Obviously, he was bigger, but I mean, Earl Boykins, he looked skinny.
I remember him. Yeah.
But I guess how Gilbert was saying, his chest was ridiculous, and he was hella strong chest area, and he was just, he's like, oh hell no, I ain't. Gilbert on his pod, he's funny, but the work ethic was in a different way, not in the weight room, but in a different way, right? Because talking about like the Last Dance, how he couldn't, how Jordan couldn't get past the Celtics or the Pistons. He went to the weight room, got stronger, but different era. Now I don't. Yeah, you still want to hit the weights, but it's so offensive and so many calls for flops and all to get to the free throw line is kind of ridiculous now. So it's not. I don't think it's a full necessity, but it is some necessity. You still need to work on that,
Everything helps to be well-rounded. I'll say that.
Bingo.
Exactly. But do you guys have any other things you want to go over?
That's it. I'm hungry as hell right now, and I got to go feed this beast in the house. So I'm pretty good.
I'm good on my end too. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Drew? I'm
good on my end.
You good? Well, we'll see what happens in the next week or so, and we can go from there, and hopefully and then like in 2 weeks we'll have a new president, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, D. End it.
All right, y'all. It's your boy D. I'm here with my man T and my big dog Drew. And it's a Saturday Morning Traffic, the greatest podcast, not the latest podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and dislike. Because, we let our haters be our motivators. And with that being said, like a chicken sandwich, it's a wrap.